All right, everyone, welcome back for another deep dive. Today, we're going to be looking at kind of a cool twist on a classic Italian dessert, lemon tiramisu. You might think that tiramisu is like the super old Italian tradition, but surprisingly, it's pretty modern.
Yeah, it's actually a very recent invention. It
Really?
only popped up in the 1960s.
Wow.
So its history is still a little bit shrouded in mystery,
Interesting.
but the name itself gives us a clue. Tiramisu means pick me up in Italian.
Oh, okay.
And the traditional coffee-infused version, it really does give you that little jolt of energy.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So how do we get that same pick-me-up feeling with lemon, though? Is it just the zingy flavor?
Well, it's more than just the cinnarizing.
Yeah.
Lemon, especially the zest, has these incredible aromatic oils that can actually uplift your mood. So it's
Hmm.
like a double whammy.
Ah, I see what you're saying.
You've got the flavor and the aroma working
I
together.
never thought about it like that.
Okay.
Okay, so walk us through this recipe. Where do we begin?
Well, first we're going to ditch the coffee and create this super bright and zesty lemon syrup.
Okay.
It's very simple. Water, sugar, lemon zest all simmer together until the sugar dissolves, then a splash of fresh lemon juice and you let it cool.
So those Ladyfingers are soaking up that lemon syrup instead of coffee.
Exactly.
It's like a whole culinary remix. I like it. All right, what's next?
Next up, we're going to move on to the heart of any good tiramisu, that creamy, dreamy mascarpone filling.
Oh, yes, mascarpone is so luxurious. But how do we infuse it with all that lemony goodness?
It's a multi-stage process.
Okay.
So first, as you whip the mascarpone, you're going to incorporate lemon curd, a touch of vanilla extract, and some more of that fragrant lemon zest.
Layering those lemon flavors right into the mascarpone. What's next?
Okay, so now we're going to bring in some richness and some smooth texture by beating egg yolks with sugar
Okay.
until they're pale and creamy,
Right?
and then gently fold that mixture into the mascarpone.
This is already making me want to eat it.
Yeah.
And what about the egg whites?
Ugh, the egg whites. Those are going to be our secret weapon to a light as air filling.
Okay.
So we're going to beat those separately until they form stiff peaks, and then gently fold them into the mascarpone mixture.
Okay, I'm taking notes. So we've got our lemony Ladyfingers, we've got our luscious lemon-infused mascarpone filling time to assemble.
Absolutely. So you'll quickly dip each ladyfinger into the lemon syrup, just a quick dunk. We don't want them to get soggy.
Makes sense.
Then you layer them in a dish, followed by a generous layer of that mascarpone mixture, and then you repeat. Ladyfingers, mascarpone, until you've used up all your ingredients.
I can picture it all those beautiful layers, but I know we're not ready to dive in just yet.
Not quite. Patience is key.
Okay.
This beauty needs to chill in the fridge for at least 6 hours, preferably overnight. This allows the flavors to meld and really create that perfect tiramisu texture.
I can wait. Okay, now for the grand finale, what are the finishing touches? What's going to make this lemon tiramisu really shine?
This is where you can get creative.
Okay, let's hear it. What are we adding?
Picture this. A cloud of freshly whipped cream, a scattering of fresh berries for a pop of color and flavor, and then a final sprinkle of lemon zest.
Oh, that sounds beautiful.
You want that extra zing and that visual appeal.
Absolutely. And the nice thing about this recipe is it's adaptable, right?
Exactly. If you need a gluten-free version, you can swap in gluten-free Ladyfingers.
Perfect.
And there's some great dairy-free alternatives out there, too. You can really make this your own.
This whole conversation has got me thinking tiramisu is actually pretty new to the dessert scene.
It is.
And clearly, it's so versatile.
Yeah, and that raises a really interesting question.
What's that?
If we can reimagine tiramisu with this bright, citrusy twist, what other classic desserts are ripe for reinvention?
Ooh, that is a really good question. I'm already thinking about all the possibilities.
Yeah.
Like, what if we took a classic French pastry like millefeuille
Yeah.
and gave it a lemony makeover
Oh, wow.
with layers of puff pastry and lemon cream and fresh berries?
That sounds incredible. The possibilities really are endless. That's what's so exciting about cooking, It's all about pushing those boundaries and exploring new flavor combinations.
Absolutely. It's like taking those familiar flavors and looking at them in a whole new way.
Yeah.
And I think that idea even goes beyond just desserts.
Oh, for sure.
This concept of reinventing classics can apply to all kinds of things in life.
I completely agree.
Well, listeners, if you're looking for a fun and unexpected twist on a classic dessert, This lemon tiramisu is definitely worth trying. You can
Yes.
find the full recipe with all the detailed instructions on our website.
And don't forget to share your culinary creations with us on social media. We love seeing your takes on our recipes.
Absolutely. Tag us in your photos and let us know what other classic desserts you'd like to see us reimagine.
Right.
We love hearing from you. Now, before we wrap up this first part of our deep dive into lemon tiramisu, I wanted to leave you with one final thought.
Okay, I'm listening.
We've talked about the history of tiramisu, its adaptability, and the endless possibilities for reinventing classic desserts. But I think there's even a bigger message here about the power of creativity and just the joy of exploration. Just like this lemon tiramisu took a familiar dessert and gave it this whole fresh twist, we can do that in all areas of our lives.
That's a great point. Sometimes all it takes is a little bit of imagination to transform the ordinary into something extraordinary.
Exactly. So whether it's in the kitchen at work or in your personal life, don't be afraid to break the mold, challenge those old conventions, and embrace the unexpected. You just never know what delicious discoveries await.
Love that. It's a great reminder that even in a world that often feels predictable, there's always room for surprise and delight.
That is the sweet taste of innovation. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of lemon tiramisu. We hope you're leaving this first part feeling inspired, curious, and ready to create some culinary masterpieces of your own.
Until next time, happy cooking and happy exploring. And speaking of culinary exploration, this lemon tiramisu got me thinking about other Italian desserts that could use a little refresh.
Well, tell me more. What do you have in mind?
Well, panna cotta is a classic for a reason. That silky smooth texture is just heavenly. But sometimes it can feel a little bit one-dimensional.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
What if we added a layer of complexity with something like Earl Grey tea?
Ooh, Earl Grey panna cotta. I've never thought of that before.
Right.
I bet the bergamot would add this really interesting citrusy floral note
Exactly.
that would complement the creaminess perfectly.
It's all about finding those unexpected flavor pairings that elevate a classic dish. And speaking of citrus, what about a Sicilian twist on cannoli?
Interesting.
Instead of the traditional ricotta filling, we could use a mascarpone cream infused with blood orange zest and juice.
Now that's an idea. Blood oranges have that really unique sweet and tart flavor.
Yes.
That would be amazing with the crispy cannoli shells.
Yeah, like a taste of sunshine.
Ooh, and we could top it with some toasted pistachios for a little crunch and that beautiful green color.
Exactly.
I'm already drooling. See, this is what I love about our deep dives. They always spark so many creative ideas.
Me too. And it's not just about the flavors, it's about the experience of trying something new, pushing our culinary boundaries,
Right.
and maybe even discovering a new favorite dish along the way.
You're so right. It's like that feeling of excitement you get when you travel to a new place and try the local cuisine for the first time.
Exactly. It takes this classic Italian dessert and infuses it with this fresh modern twist. It's a reminder that traditions can evolve and be reinterpreted for new generations.
I think that's a beautiful thought. It's about honoring the past while also embracing the present and looking toward the future.
Absolutely. Speaking of the future, what are some other culinary adventures you're hoping to embark on?
Ooh, that's a great question. Well, I've been wanting to explore more Asian cuisines lately. I am fascinated by the bold flavors and unique ingredients.
I love Asian cuisine.
Things like Thai curries, Vietnamese pho.
Those are great choices. The world of Asian cuisine is so vast and diverse. There's always something new to discover. What about you? Any culinary frontiers you're eager to explore?
I've always been a little bit intimidated by baking bread.
Oh, yeah.
It seems like such a precise and time-consuming process. But I'm determined to conquer that fear and bake a beautiful, crusty loaf of sourdough someday.
I applaud your ambition. Baking bread is definitely an art form, but it's also incredibly rewarding. And there's nothing quite like the smell of freshly baked bread wafting through your kitchen.
Oh, I can only imagine. Maybe we should do a deep dive on bread baking someday.
I'd love that. We could explore different types of bread from around the world, learn about the science of fermentation.
Yes.
Maybe even try our hand at making our own sourdough starter.
That sounds like an episode I wouldn't want to miss.
Me neither. But for now, let's get back to our lemon tiramisu. We've talked a lot about the recipe and its variations.
Right.
I'm curious, what do you think is the most important element of this dish?
That's a tough one. I think it's that balance of flavors. That perfect harmony between the tangy lemon and the creamy mascarpone and the sweetness of the Ladyfingers. It's a symphony of flavors that just dance on your palate.
That's beautifully said, and I completely agree. It's that delicate balance that makes this lemon tiramisu so special. It's not just a dessert, it's an experience.
And an experience I'm so glad we get to share with our listeners.
Me too. And speaking of our listeners, I'm sure they're eager to hear our final thoughts on this lemon tiramisu journey.
They are. So before we wrap up this second part of our deep dive, I want to leave you with a little challenge. Think about a classic dessert that you love. Maybe something you've been making for years.
Okay.
Now imagine how you could reinvent it with a new flavor twist. What unexpected ingredients could you add? What culinary boundaries could you push?
That's a fantastic challenge. Remember, the most important ingredient is your own creativity. Don't be afraid to experiment, to make mistakes, and to have fun in the kitchen.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Mm-hmm.
And who knows, maybe you'll create the next culinary sensation.
Anything is possible. So
Yeah.
go forth, our intrepid culinary explorers, and let your imaginations run wild.
And remember, if you're feeling a little lost in the kitchen or you just want a little bit of extra guidance, we've got you covered.
That's right.
Head over to eateveryslice.com.
We've got a treasure trove of recipes on there.
From savory dinners to decadent desserts.
Everything in between.
And don't forget our step-by-step video tutorials.
Yes, those are perfect for visual learners, you know? They want to see those techniques in action.
Absolutely. And we break down even like the trickiest of steps so you can feel confident in the kitchen,
Exactly.
no matter what your skill level is.
And of course, no culinary journey is complete without a vibrant community to share it with.
You got that right. So come join our food-loving family over on social media.
That's right. We're on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at 4CanFry Podcast.
Yeah.
Share your creations, ask questions, swap recipe ideas.
I want to see it all.
We love connecting with you all there.
We really do. Your feedback and enthusiasm make this whole journey so much more rewarding.
It's true. Hearing from you, seeing your culinary triumphs, and sharing in your love for food, that's what keeps us inspired and excited to keep exploring.
Well said. So as we wrap up this final part of our lemon tiramisu deep dive, let's raise a virtual spoon to the power of culinary creativity.
Absolutely. To the joy of experimenting in the kitchen and transforming ordinary ingredients into extraordinary dishes.
Yes, to the thrill of discovering new flavors and sharing those culinary adventures with the people we love.
To embracing the unexpected, because sometimes the most delicious surprises are the ones we never saw coming.
Cheers to that. Thanks for joining us on this delicious journey. Until next time, happy cooking, everyone.
Happy cooking!